Okay, welcome back. So as you can see, we got the back glass out. I figured I'd give you a close look at what we're going to be doing and where we're at. So what I'm going to be working on now is taking the drill and some wire wheels, and I'm going to clean up the rear window gutter. So we have here our patch panel. Let's see if you guys can see this. So this will replace the lower sheet metal. Now you can see right here at this seam and then this other seam. What we're going to try to do is in between those, we're going to take this apart, clean this up, drill out the spot welds on this, and hopefully that should mate up pretty nicely with this whole rotted piece on my car. So before we do that, I'm going to clean all this window channel out, and then I'm going to clean up the lower window channel on this so that when we do separate it from the rest of this piece back here and then ultimately separate this rotted piece, it should fall roughly into place, weld it in, and make sure everything lines up. So another thing we're going to have to do is just take measurements. We're probably going to go from like the seam from basically the rear of the car up to the bottom of the window, and then from the top of the window down to the channel 2. Just to make sure that everything's lined up correctly so that we do put the glass in, it's not too narrow or too wide. So what I'm going to do, right now I got the back seat just kind of hanging out in there. I'm going to take that out, start wire wheeling all this stuff up. I'll bring you in a little closer so you can kind of see more what I'm talking about here. So you can see there's the gutter. All this bottom piece between these two seams is going to get replaced. I have to clean all this up, get all that residue out of the channel. So that's where we're at. Top's fully off. I'm working on getting the glue off. A little bit of a slow process, very manual, a lot of elbow grease. I think those are neon head tail lights? Neon tail lights. Yeah, Joe is a bit of a neon junkie, so sure. Neon tail lights on a Chrysler 300. So yeah, we're gonna try the glue. You could kind of see it's coming off. I'm gonna try a couple different methods, mostly just rag and either mineral spirits, acetone. I'm gonna maybe try a Scotch-Brite, like a plastic bristle pad for an angle grinder on it, see if that works. Some people say it just gums up. I figured maybe I'll give it a shot, at least to see how it does. But mostly just elbow grease. So that's where oh yeah, there's the seat, so I gotta get that out of there. Alright, see you in a little bit. Okay, so as you can see, I got it pretty much cleaned up. We might want to, get a little better before we put it in, after we split it apart. You can see there are some small rot holes right there, so we'll have to, weld those up. But other than that, and some of the edges are a little pukey. You can see right here, we're going to have to, like that last couple inches, maybe like 2-3 inches before that seam is a little rotted. So we might have to put a little panel in there, a little piece. But for the most part, it looks pretty good. I'll just kind of run it up real quick so you could see. Yeah, I mean, for the most part, you just want it, one solid piece of metal, no rust. Again, this side you could see the last couple inches, kind of pukey. Oddly enough, it is a lot better than what is on the car now. But again, we'll have to cut out those last few inches and just get that channel cleaned up. I do have some channel from Kevin's satellite donor car we may use. So that shouldn't be an issue. I mean, also you could probably just, in all honesty, take this piece right up here and just patch that in. So like right about there, and just paste it in there. We'll see what, I mean, ultimately it's going to be Joe's call. This is not his first rodeo with this sort of stuff, so depending on what he wants to do will dictate the plan of action. But this is pretty much what we're working with, a lot better than what's on the car now. So, as you can see, Joe drilled out the spot welds, and he's actually in the process of separating the outside metal from, I guess, the inside. What do you even call that inside piece?
Structure?
The structural metal. So that's just going to mate up to the one on my car. It's fighting. That's what sheet metal does. But this is what we got to do, separate it. And you can see the spot welds, that's where it's going to be welded back onto my car. So, the arduous process. So, Joe's scribing in where the new patch panel is going to go. So, just kind of getting the old Sharpie out. Trying to preserve what's good on the existing metal, and then, you know, cut a piece that's needed to replace it. You can see we got kind of like a little puzzle piece thing going here. Making progress on the roof. So what I'm finding is acetone and like a tight woven cotton shirt. I guess to be specific, like that little white rag right there. Not that it's a plug, but it's an express dress shirt that I used to wear. But it's a very tightly knit cotton. You know when you wear a dress shirt and it's like loud, it's crinkly? You need one like that. Like actual, I got a t-shirt over there, that's just not cutting it. It almost acts like an eraser. So you put the acetone down, you wait like 60 seconds or something for a lot of it to flash off, and then you just start rubbing like a pencil eraser, and it seems to be coming up pretty decent. So I guess that's all I could really say about that. But yeah, so I'm working on that. Joe's doing his thing with the sheet metal. That's kind of his expertise. What'd you say? Joe said a moment ago, let's replace this super rusty piece with a slightly rusty piece.
Slightly less rusty. Got some bigger holes that we're going to need to patch right here. For the most part, it's pretty good. The ends are kind of chooched. So nothing that's really up in the detail line, which is super good. So we don't have to deal with any of that. This is all just little flat, like 3/4 inch wide straight pieces. So if we just have to cut out a couple little pieces, and there's a couple pinholes just in some random spots, we'll just fill in with some little Zappa MIG weld. But you can see right on the edge here, it's all just gone. I'm trying to fix that and not have it all warped. It's just way better off to put a better piece in. So we'll just kind of cut it along that trace line. We'll lay that new piece on top, and then probably, you know, put a zip screw in here to keep it tight. Line everything up with this detail line, tack a couple welds in, and then cut the rest and butt weld it. So it shouldn't be too long of a process. It's, I don't know, I would guess probably 8 hours to weld this panel in. You know, cut it out, weld it all in, and get it done. And then we can just skim coat it with, you know, maybe some epoxy resin or something, or hell, even like a, you know, JB weld or something right over the seam. Because there really isn't going to be too much warpage, I don't think.
And it's going to be under
a vinyl.
It's under vinyl.
We just have to, if there's any dents or low spots, we just got to fill it up just a little bit. So we're not worried about like super good finish on the welds, but it'll look good. And yeah, other than that, that corner is really solid, except for a top little pinhole there we gotta touch up, which that might just end up being MIG weld and grind back down kind of a deal. So, and then we'll put POR 15 over the whole deal from the top to back side too. Get all this wire brushed down and get some POR on the back, and we're not gonna drive it in the rain no more much.
Right, yeah.
So,
no winters, not a lot of rain.
Salt,
So.
BS in it, so it should be fine. It'll be a better fix than most anybody does on them.
Sweet. Okay, so Joe's poking holes in the rest of my car.
Oh,
Oh, great. So I'm gonna show you what I was talking about with the acetone and this like tight knit cotton thing. Like I said, this is like a dress shirt. It's like that loud, crunchy
Ralph
thing.
Lauren?
No, it's not Ralph Lauren. It's Express.
Express, oh, okay.
I don't know if other brands will work. I assume they will. But this is what I had.
Go in your dresser drawer and find out.
From my, I am an office pause, that's why they call me that. So, I just basically wipe on this is acetone, wipe it on, let it flash for like, I don't know, 40, 60 seconds, just kind of let it.
You could blow it and it'll go quicker.
And then eventually, once it's kind of, I guess a little tacky, you kind of like ball this up really tight, and it's almost like an eraser. And it'll start to like ball up and come up. This so far seems to be the most effective way. I tried mineral spirits.
Yeah, look at it not work over where you're
What do you mean?
go where you didn't put the acetone. It kind of it goes, but
It
it's
goes
not as quick.
It's definitely not as quick. And if you wait too long, it'll just totally go. Yeah, like you see this, it's kind of going, but it's not really balling up. And we tried that proprietary cleaner that you could get for like
$2.67 a
yeah,
gallon.
$2.67 a gallon. That works. For the record, it does work, but it's just not as good. Now I don't know, like final cleanup, maybe.
We're gonna DA it probably with
Yeah.
120 grit paper
Yeah.
to get that sheen off of it.
But this gets a lot of the big stuff off. And this is so far the best I find. Now, like I said, I have just like a dish rag cloth and like a t-shirt cloth. I don't know, it wasn't working for me. For whatever reason, this tight cotton seems to work. So that's my tip.
Go to Express and buy your shirt.
Yeah, I mean, to get a brand new one, it's a tad pricey, but whatever. Hey, I mean, could you really put a price tag on this?
Sir, do you need help finding a shirt?
Yeah.
No, I just need to have this to clean off vinyl glue.
Which one gets rid of vinyl glue the best? The guy on YouTube said it needs to have a crunchy sound to it. So, I don't know, that's my tip. My whole, 3 hours of vinyl top glue.
Experience.
Yeah.